Hello, and welcome to this edition of Garbage Time on UWW-TV. I'm Eli Stickles, and this week I'm joined by Josh Kirore and Luke Lamort. And our job for the next 30 minutes is to simply talk sports. So let's begin on the hardwood floor. Guys, the greatest time of the year has unfortunately come to an end, but starting with the ladies first, UCLA beats South Carolina 79-51 for their first title in program history. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
It was an absolutely dominant performance whole way through. They did not trail that entire game. There was a brief moment of a tie, but they did not trail a single bit. There was no doubt in question from the moment that game pretty much started to ended that that's how it's going to be, and that's a little disappointing for a championship game, especially between 2 1 seeds like that. But at the end of the day, when you can pull out that kind of performance when it matters the most, that's something that people are going to remember long term.
Oh yeah. I actually had South Carolina winning the game going into it, but that performance from UCLA was just crazy. I mean, they were dominating every aspect. 42% from three to South Carolina's 13, which was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And inside, they were getting whatever they wanted. And not just Lauren Betts, they're big, but their guards, everybody was attacking inside and getting exactly what they wanted. So it was not close from the start, and that was their largest deficit all season. So UCLA earned it and deserved it.
If you want to talk about a dominant performance, how about a great individual performance from Gabriela Jaquez? 21 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah.
Just absolutely dominated compared to everybody else on that court.
She did. Yeah, she had a great game. And to me, yeah, South Carolina just couldn't play their game. They didn't look, at no point did they look like that team that got to the championship game, to me at least. So, yeah, congrats to UCLA.
Yeah, finishing 37-1. So let's go on to the men's tournament where Michigan beat UCLA 69-63. What a turnaround, am I right? After 2 years?
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best with that. And I know there was very high expectations for them heading into this tournament.
Yeah.
And I guess in some ways it's not entirely a surprise, but I think that the fact that they stayed strong the whole way through, they followed through, and that game was tight, even if it wasn't like the single closest through most of it. It was a constant game of pushing them away, and just trying to maintain your distance to have enough breathing room. And when you're that solid of a team with such elite tools on pretty much every aspect of the game, that's what good teams like that do.
Yeah.
Is that they don't let leads slip, they don't let momentum slide away from them, and they just kept pushing the whole way through, and look where it got them.
Yeah, championship.
Here's a fun fact about Michigan. They're the first team in NCAA history to win a national championship with a starting 5 of all transfers. That's right. Nobody on this starting 5 started at Michigan. Elliot Cadeau started at North Carolina. Mamiri Burnett started at Texas Tech. Yaxel Lendenberg started at UAB. Morez Johnson Jr. started at Illinois. And Ade Mara started at UCLA. Just absolute history right here. And what if I told you just 2 years ago, this team finished 8-24 overall, 3-17 in their conference. Last place in the Big Ten, and look what just happened.
Wow.
They just won the national
I
championship.
did not know that. I don't remember that. That's crazy. Man.
That's the kind of season you try to forget, that's why.
Yeah, that's exactly why. I mean, yeah, Ellie Cadeau had a great performance yesterday. Led the team in points, 19, deservingly winning most outstanding player. So you see what happens when you leave those Tar Heels.
Got to give credit to Alex Caravan. 17 points, 11 rebounds, and 2 assists. He also put on a show for UConn. I mean, UConn and Michigan, it was a really close game overall. Yeah. I mean, I did turn off the game like midway through because
Come on, man.
Crazy.
In such big arenas like that, I mean, shooting goes way down because of like how big it is.
I mean, yeah, Michigan 2 for 15 from 3.
But that puts a lot of pressure then on the rest of your whole team, especially on your defense. And in a game that was, like I said, constant push them away. Fundamental basketball is what's going to win you that kind of game. So yeah, I mean, it wasn't all about extravagant threes and all up in the paint and the whole game. That is a game that you win by scratching and clawing for every single point you get. And I think that's what makes for such a good game like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Especially spending $1,000 for nosebleed seats. So staying on the topic of the hardwood floor, let's go to the NBA. Guys, what do you got for us?
It's by that time. It's almost
almost
playoff season. So I think there's a lot of storylines going on teams that will make it, might make it, all that stuff. I think one team to definitely look at, I think, is kind of on the not exactly on the fringe, but could go either way when it actually comes to postseason. The Knicks right now are in such a weird spot. And it finally feels like Jalen Brunson is finally like starting to come back to form to some
Yep.
extent. You know, he's starting to be the clutch kind of guy he's known for. But when they had been losing, I want to say 5 in a row to winning teams until they finally got a win over the Hawks not that long ago, like that is not what you want for your momentum, even when you are that good of a team heading into the playoffs like that. So I feel like that is a team that is prone to potentially getting upset early, but if they actually get their act together when it matters, which as soon as that regular season ends, that's when it matters. If you can get everything together then, forget everything else.
Yeah, you want to have that momentum going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, coming in or going to the playoffs, coming in losing, and that just messes with everything. Your mentality, you're not playing how you want to.
Exactly.
So yeah, hopefully they can get back into form.
We'll see.
For me, I think the Spurs, they're just such a complete team.
Yeah.
Everyone plays their role and they do it well. It's like seamless basketball. De'Aaron Fox continued to mesh well. Stephon Castle has only gotten better in his second year. Dylan Harper coming in and contributing immediately as a rookie. And I mean, with Wemby, 24.8 points again, 11.5 rebounds, shooting 50%. That's a recipe for success on that team, I think.
What more could you ask for, really?
Right. I don't know.
I want to talk about the Chicago Bulls. Wait a minute. I can't talk about the Chicago Bulls. They got eliminated.
How well that prediction
Oh,
go
yeah,
for
that
you?
prediction.
Yeah, what about that hot take? That was
we
really
feeling now?
spicy of me. I mean, not great now. I mean,
You
that's
can't
the
be
reason why I'm
burning the
not-
studio down with takes like that, man.
That's the reason why I'm not hired by ESPN.
Yeah.
However, I will talk about the Detroit Pistons. What if I told you 2 years ago? It was just 2 years ago, where people were betting on the Pistons, just 1 cent on the Pistons, and all of a sudden they somehow were making budget. And also, this team only went 14-68. That was only 2 years ago. This year, they just clinched the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I sure did.
Cade Cunningham is putting on a show for them, 24.5 points per game, 9.9 assists per game. But this Eastern Conference, it's not great compared to the Western Conference. This Western Conference is a different breed,
It is.
Yeah.
including the Oklahoma City Thunder, which this juggernaut is not going to be gone until 2031.
Yeah, waiting for those second graders to come in, right?
2031 is
It's
such a
ridiculous.
long
And
time.
they've had those picks since like 2020. They're literally betting on middle schoolers, but we'll see how it plays out for them.
I guess we'll have to see.
You don't seem too happy about it.
Man, I don't like the Thunder.
They're the-
That's SGA, foul baiting. It's not my
Thunder
not my
were-
flavor.
The Thunder were an NFL team. They're probably going to be drafting Baby Gronk.
That's exactly what it would be. Yeah.
I mean, I guess when you put it in that context, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not the mental image I had in mind, but you know what? Maybe you're right.
Yeah, but I at least want to mention the Lakers. You know, they were looking really dominant. Luka Doncic has been insane. He averaged 37.5 points in the month of March and leading the team to 15-2 month. And for him to go out and get hurt, sadly, Doncic and Reeves both getting hurt
Yeah.
going into the playoffs, and it looks like Luka might be out for good. But we'll see how it goes. It's just
We'll
really
see how it goes for
devastating.
them.
Yeah.
Let's turn down the temperature in here. So let's go to the National Hockey League. This season's also come to a close. Guys, what do you got for us?
Oh, thank goodness we're turning down the temperature. That Bulls take was still a little too hot. We had to cool it off a little
Still
bit.
feeling it from the first
But
time.
I wanted to follow up on something we talked about in this show not that long ago about the Golden Knights firing their head coach not that long before the playoffs. You know what they did after that? 3 games in a row, 3 wins in a row. What more could you ask for? I mean,
They
we were
might have
talking
made-
about will they have any
Yeah.
momentum? Will their clubhouse be in the right place?
Talking
All these
about
questions.
the timing and like how bad the timing it might have been.
Yeah, and they've proven in all those expectations wrong. The new coach, 3 games on the spot. If you continue that momentum into playoffs, I think they're going far.
Yeah, I think that's a really great start for him. He quieted my is it garbage take saying yes. So,
Pretty much.
yeah, props to them.
I want to talk about the Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah.
This is the best team in the NHL. As of right now, they are 50, 16-10. Just absolutely dominating the NHL. They're probably going to win the President's Trophy, which is given to the best team in the NHL
Yeah.
after the regular season. I want to talk about Nathan McKinnon. He's putting on an absolute show in the NHL right now. 122 points, 51 goals, 71 assists, and a plus-minus of 54. If you look on the Colorado Avalanche page on ESPN, it'll show that he leads all 5 categories except for one, and that one is penalty minutes.
Wow.
So I see he's going to probably win the Hart Memorial Trophy, which is the MVP trophy of the NHL.
right.
But another player that's tearing it up, not on the ice, but rather in the crease, is their goaltender Scott Wedgwood. A 28-6 record, a 918 save percentage, 2.13 goals against average. He's probably going to win the Vezina Trophy, which is given to the best goaltender in the NHL.
Yeah, all three of them in the same place.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's going to get real crazy for the Avalanche. This is a really good cup contender right here.
Yeah.
I'd say so.
I'm looking at the Carolina Hurricanes.
Right.
They've been consistently dominant all year. They just clinched the playoff spot last Thursday after a decisive 5-1 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets, and took the 1 seed shortly after in their conference. So, and Sebastian Aho leading the way. He's a real threat on offense. 26 goals and 52 assists. He's playing great. So I think they can go far in these playoffs if they keep the momentum going in. And the momentum coming off getting the 1 spot and further on, I think they can do it.
I like it.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, we'll sort through our remaining sports garbage right after this. Stay tuned.
Welcome to the show. Josh, let's take a look at some highlights from this last game here. What a performance by the UWW-TV staff in this one.
Absolutely. Look at this clip. Bree is going to signal for Ryan to cut to camera 2, but instead Ryan's going to cut to 3, and that's where things might take a turn. But hold on a second here. Just when you think it's over, Bree makes the split-second decision and reaches over Ryan to cut to camera 2 herself.
And the truck goes wild. Once again, the UWW-TV staff delivers.
You can see it. His potential, that is. You see it even when he may not. You see that the things that spark his interest today will in time ignite the things he pursues tomorrow. And ultimately, help him reach new heights. All he needs now is a way to make it happen. We are the Universities of Wisconsin. 13 universities, unlimited opportunity.
Here at UW Whitewater Intramural Sports, we have a motto: a sport for everyone and everyone in a sport.
Come on! Kept it anyways. Oh, she got that off, and they're going to count it.
Had a blast. Always have fun at intramurals.
Every day we strive to go above and beyond that goal by providing healthy exercise, promoting leisure education, and giving students that competitive atmosphere they are looking for.
Yes! Yes!
It's exciting. Brings me back to those high school days with Friday Night Lights.
With our 25 different intramural sports offered, we guarantee that we have a sport for you. Go to our website and find your sport today.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee? Verbal abuse from fans, parents, and coaches is the #1 reason why many referees are walking away. And they're not being replaced quickly enough by new ones. So put yourself in the official shoes, act with respect, and be officially human.
Welcome back to Garbage Time on UWW-TV. Let's continue with more sports, and next we'll be talking about the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Rory McIlroy. I mean, he had a great year. The reigning Green Jacket recipient, winning last year's Masters. And, he's had some up and downs this year, but he's always keeping himself in the mix. And he's still one of the most dangerous players in the world, ranked second only to Scheffler.
Yeah.
And when he's playing well, he can go lower than almost anybody. So for me, it's Rory.
Here's a good one for you guys. How about Jacob Bridgman?
Who?
The #1 in FedEx Cup standings.
Who?
1,452 points, 1 win, 3 top 5 finishes, 4 top 10 finishes, 8 top 25 finishes.
Who
Did
are
he
you
make the
talking
Masters?
about?
Yeah, he actually did.
Yeah, he'll be at church Sunday morning, not teeing off.
Yikes. Yeah. No, I mean, when we're talking about people that are probably going to be there on the last day of that, we got to talk about Scheffler. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
He
come on.
is the #1 golfer in the
number
world.
one, yeah.
He is the guy that everybody's talking about. I mean, you look at pretty much anything related to golf and with PGA Tour, his name is right at the top of every single conversation.
Yep.
Unlike whoever that guy was. How in the world could you not be having a golf conversation without bringing him up?
You can't.
I mean, I understand if you want to talk about McIlroy as well. I understand good competition, but like, I just don't even think it's close.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But we're going to be finding out in
find
due
out.
time, in very, very close due time.
Last year, Scheffler was the favorite to win, and look what happened.
Well,
I'm just saying, Rory came out of hey, come on. We'll see. We'll watch. We'll see what happens.
how about your FedEx Cup guy?
He's 6th in U.S. Cup rankings, and he's qualified for his 3rd Masters.
3rd Masters?
Good for him, man.
3rd Masters,
Good for him.
I want to know where he finished in the last 2.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about the Masters, it's coming up pretty soon.
Yes,
so
sir.
I think we got to be talking
We
about
should
it.
talk
It's the 90th.
I didn't even realize.
The 90th Masters.
90th Masters.
First, let's talk about what it is first.
Yeah.
So,
Of course.
In order to qualify for the Masters, there are many ways you can. You can win major championships, win players' championships, an Olympic gold medal,
Right.
Amateur championships. There's so many different ways you can qualify for it. And also, another way to qualify, win the Masters.
Yeah.
And so, speaking of Jacob Bridgman, he's in the Masters. Number one in the
Sunday. I told you.
I guess, man.
No,
Number one in the FedEx Cup standings. He's 18th in the world. 3rd year in the Masters.
1-8.
18th in the whole world.
You know, it's a little better than I expected, at least. I'll give you that. But I do think the 2 gentlemen we've been discussing previously are at the actual top of the betting odds. And when you look at the betting odds, there's one specific model out there. It's predicted the last 4 Masters in a row correctly, and I think 16 majors overall. You know who's at the top of it this year? It's Scheffler. Is he going to win this year? I think so.
Maybe you didn't scroll far enough. Bridgman could have been down there.
Well, you know, look, man, if the betting odds say to bet for that guy, then I'll let you know. But right now, that's not who I'm putting my money on.
At least I didn't say Tiger Woods.
Okay, maybe it's not a great time to be a fan of Tiger Woods.
Not at all.
But, you know, best of luck to Bridgman in the Masters.
Yeah, best of luck. I'm
very
excited.
excited.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll get your payout, man. Just bet us 1 penny on him now. You'll have $1 million.
Huge underdog, just like the Bulls.
Now, getting back to a real contender, Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the reigning champ.
Right.
He just completed his Grand Slam with last year's Masters, winning. That means he won all 4 of the major championships at least once. And Rory has been on record saying himself that this year there's a lot less pressure and a weight off his shoulders, having already won. So
I can see it.
You know, I think that's going to help him play with a lot more ease.
I can definitely see it.
All right, so I want to now that we're at the end of our show today, I want to play a little game with you guys called Is It Garbage?
My favorite.
I'm going to give you a new topic or a topic we've already talked about, and you're going to tell me if it's considered garbage or not. So number 1, was the not stepping on first base call against the Brewers from umpire CB Buckner garbage? Everyone on a count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Garbage!
All right, we all agree. What the heck was CB Buckner looking at?
Not the base.
Yeah, not the base. He's the first base umpire. You're supposed to be looking at first base, not home plate. That's already covered.
They say keep your eye on the ball. I think he took it a little too literally.
A little bit too serious.
That
too
was.
literal.
I just don't understand how he had the confidence to still make that call. And you saw, if you look at the footage, you see him go over to the home plate umpire to try to get him to bail him out in case he saw it. He didn't. And effectively what the home plate ump told him is, that's your job.
Yeah.
And that just kind of almost begs the question why the MLB doesn't have a actual umpire started review process. You can't have actual officials doing the reviews. It has to be challenged by a team. But why are teams needing to potentially waste their challenges on CB Buckner calls?
Yeah.
If you're not confident in whether the guy touched first base, he should be able to just take that to replay to make sure he gets it right and not embarrass himself and the whole entire sport on the field.
I agree.
Yeah, just be glad it's 2026 and not 2010, because if it was 2010, that probably wouldn't have been challengeable, and also would have been the worst call in MLB
And he wouldn't
history.
be able to go into Milwaukee without hired guards around him.
Oh my gosh. Next, I want to talk about the Trayvon Walker signing. What do you guys think? Is it garbage or not garbage?
I say not garbage. You know, he's still their 2022 #1 pick. He's been playing really well since then, having 2 back-to-back seasons with double-digit plus sacks. And he had a rough year last year, struggled, 3.5 sacks, but that was largely due to knee and wrist injuries. So I think, getting this extension shows the confidence and the support from the team, like, we still know you're that guy, and you can get back there. So I think that's going to push him to level up his game, which he said that's his goal. So with that extra push from the team, I think he levels up. And I don't think it's garbage. I think it's good.
Yeah, I'm all for giving guys second chances like that. I think one season is never going to completely define a player.
Yeah.
And, if it's a question of money, it's a whole separate issue. But if it's the question of, are you going to be signing this guy to give him another opportunity with your organization and see where he can go? And I'm all for giving him at least that chance. Whether or not he proves himself to be the draft pick that everybody really thought him to be, that'll be told in time. But you got to give him time to tell it.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to give him that opportunity first, and then you can figure out what to do from there. So I don't think that's garbage. Whether it works out or not, I don't think it's a garbage signing to do.
In terms of money, I'd say it's garbage. Just on the talk of money, I mean,
Right.
4 years, $110 million. I mean, it's a bit too much, honestly. I wouldn't say that one of the top edge rushers in the league right now. And I definitely do feel like he does have a lot of potential. I mean, heck, he's one of their best players, one of the best players on the Jaguars.
Right.
But definitely not one of the top players in the NFL.
I can
even
see
at
that
edge
as well.
rusher.
Yeah, I can see that.
So next, I want to talk about Wilson Contreras against the Brewers. Is the way he acted garbage or not?
Man, I don't know what's going on in his head right now, man. Look, I understand he's been hit by the Brewers a lot. I think 20% of his hit by pitches in his career have come from the Brewers. But how in the world does that justify what he did after, especially when there's two runners on base, when it grazes your hand? It's not like it was at his body. It was clearly just a high-end inside pitch. I don't know what exactly he's so insanely frustrated about that he feels the need to start cleating people in the next plays after and then start threatening people in the interviews.
Yeah.
There has to be something else going on somewhere in his life or something else, because this just feels like a completely out of proportion response for what was actually done. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think, being mad or frustrated is understandable in the moment. You just got hit by a ball, even if it's just your hand. You're going to be a little bit maybe annoyed, frustrated, but the slide was really dangerous. I mean, when he slid, his foot didn't touch the ground once, and it was stayed high. So whether or not it was intentional, his anger turned into recklessness, and you can't really be having that. And the comments after the game were just straight up threats.
I don't get it.
Because he literally says, they always say, I'm not trying to hit you. That gets old. So next time they hit me again, I'm going to take one of them out. That's a message. Like, that's crazy.
This is not the 1970s. This is not the type of brawls you're seeing 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually kind of surprised he didn't incite a brawl with that slide in of itself.
Yeah.
But this is not the same time period. I just don't. Did he go in a time machine?
I don't know.
I don't understand.
Also, like, that one pitch that hit you had to be challenged because it looked like it almost didn't even hit you.
It was hard to tell.
And therefore it was obvious he wasn't trying to hit you. Also, like, you were trash talking the entire game. I'm surprised you remained silent.
I think it's garbage.
Well, good luck against the Miz. But anyway, on a positive note, the Brewers did extend their number 4 overall prospect, Cooper Pratt, for 8 years, $51 million. Man, what a sign.
That is an unusual move for the Brewers. You don't never see this from them. That long of a deal for that much money. I didn't even know they had that much money, quite frankly. This is definitely one of the most shocking moves, and if they actually end up keeping him for that long a time, I mean, you better hope he turns out.
Yeah,
this is the Brewers maybe going on the right track. It's quite possibly.
So now let's talk about our garbage play of the week. So what do you think is the dumbest play or something, whatever, that you have to rant about? I'll go first. I want to talk about the Chicago Cubs, who almost had the first no-hitter of 2026. All of a sudden, in the 6th inning, a fly ball to right field. Michael Conforto has a 99% chance of catching this ball over the head and off the wall, and it's a double. There goes the first no-hitter of 2021. I mean, not 2021.
2026, yes.
The Cubs did secure a 1-0 victory. Maybe that's what threw me off.
Yeah, I'm not really one to just assume that no-hitters would have happened. I think if it was in the 9th, that's one thing. If it's in the 6th, that just kind of falls within the probability of things going wrong during a baseball game. There could have been a chip off the end of a bat, like broken bat blooper. Any of those things can happen at any moment. So I just almost, even if it was a 99% catch probability, I don't put too much stock into that statistic. I think a lot could have gone wrong, but should he have caught the baseball? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But it's still a lot of time for other stuff to have
exactly.
gone wrong. It wasn't guaranteed, I guess.
Right.
I agree.
Is there anything else you guys have?
Josh, I know you have something burning on your mind.
Yeah, I can get a little rant in. And I think this is regarding F1 and, the new regulations.
Right.
And I just think that F1 is, I'm wondering why they decided to go through with these regulations after 3 years of their best drivers saying, this is bad, this is what's wrong with it. And I think it comes down to they think we need shorter amounts of entertainment. In bursts.
Yes.
So that's why we're seeing these Mario Karts and these energies. So overtake. But
right.
In reality, the fans know you're watching a race. You know what you're watching. You're there to see overtakes that come from bravery and guts. But now you're watching them come from pressing a button, from charging. And so the person in front of you is doing everything in their power to keep you from passing while you're doing everything in your power to make their everything mean nothing.
Right, and it's almost like they're insulting the intelligence of the fans to an extent.
It really does feel like that.
Because they expect it to be like jingling keys in front of their face when there's a pass, but that's not how that works, and fans are going to very quickly figure out that they just can't trust passes as being an actual indicator of what's happening in the race, and they'll just wait until something happens later on. Worst case scenario, people might just start skipping most of the race just to see what happens at the end. If you really feel like passes are just not that important, you're devaluing most of the race, right?
Exactly. So for the point of racing and overtaking, it's supposed to be a battle of wills and skills, and all the batteries do is remove the chills and the thrills. So unfortunately, I think that they made the wrong choice and they took the wrong direction.
Yeah.
I think they look at real life and they see we go from movies to shows to YouTube videos to TikTok. We need shorter bursts. But racing fans know what you're there to watch.
Exactly.
And that's not what we need. We want to see real racing and real guts. So
yeah.
I think they got to change it, but there's a meeting happening over this long break to maybe bring back real engines, so we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Thanks, team, but we are out of time. Stay tuned for UWW-TV for more garbage next week. For Josh Kiroy and Luke Lamort, I'm Eli Stickles, and this has been Garbage Time on UWW-TV.